All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Inner Sunset Streetscape Improvement Project and the Muni Ford Project. I am Mohammed Nuru, and I serve as the Public Works Director for the city and county here. I want to thank you for all coming out to celebrate this very exciting project that will improve the lives of the many people who use this Inner Sunset corridor. The project, which spans all the way from Arguello to 19th Avenue and Irving Street, will improve the quality of life and transit services of this diverse neighborhood, which serves families, students, merchants, and tourists alike. The Streetscape Improvements and the Muni Ford Project is a collaborative partnership with Public Works, SFMTA, and the Public Utility Commission. For the past 2 years, those teams have been working very closely with each other to make crucial improvements to the Inner Sunset streetscape and the nearby transit services that not only make the area more vibrant and more beautiful, but also more accessible, safe, and reliable. When you look around the surrounding streets, you see the vibrant landscapes that adds to the neighborhood's charm, improved seating, as you can see, visitors thriving, new street trees, all that help create a healthier environment and a great carbon footprint. What many people don't see and what's not obvious, or semi-obvious, is some of the new accessible curb ramps, the upgraded traffic signals, repaved roads, the bulb out, which we're enjoying and having this event on today, and all the help to improve the pedestrian safety and local transit service. But there are many components to this project that a lot is not being seen. We have improvements to the underground sewer lines. We have improvements to our water lines. Our firefighting pipelines were upgraded or replaced, all to increase capacity and minimize any disruptions, and that will provide more reliable service to the community. Also, as part of this project, Dig Once, there's more than 3,000 feet of pipe that was installed for the Department of Technology, our Dig Once, for future fiber optic cables that will be pulled on this project. And this is a great partnership. As we do many projects like we did on Potrero and Irving, we're installing these pipes, so the future of fiber that we'll be able to have the pipes already in, and of course, this less disruption to the neighborhood while the projects happen. With all that said, it brings me great joy to see the work that all these agencies are doing together and how we come together to improve the quality of life of this diverse neighborhood here in San Francisco. I want to thank our Public Works team led by our city engineer, John Thomas, and our project manager, Denny Farm. I'd like to thank Harlan Kelly and his team from the PUC, and Tom McGuire from the SFMTA, and of course our contractor who was out here every day making sure that we got this job done. And now, the person who helps make all these projects happen, the person who makes our neighborhoods better for everyone, the person who's really looking out for the future of San Francisco. Without further delay, let me introduce our Mayor, London Breed. Thank you.
Thank you. It's so good to be back in the Inner Sunset community. I remember when we first set on the path to do this project for this neighborhood. Andrea, I just noticed you were over there. It's great to see you, and Martha, and so many folks from the community. You all did the work because you wanted something better for this community. We have kids everywhere, and these kids from Stepping Stone Preschool are joining us today. And you're going to get your snacks in just a minute, so don't worry. We have kids, we have families, we have seniors, we have people who basically love this community. So many amazing restaurants, so many amazing places to shop. This is like really a jewel in San Francisco. And in fact, when I was supervisor, I came to this community a lot to hide out and relax. And it was great. And what was so important is to make it a lot safer. to deal with, of course, safety, but also public infrastructure improvements. One of the things that I spent time with some of the neighbors doing is standing on the corner of 9th and Irving. And many of you know the familiar sound of some of the old Muni trains, which still come through this way, how loud and how heavy they are. And remember I said that the new trains are going to be a lot quieter. Did you just hear how much quieter the new trains are? So a lot of the promises made to this community are finally happening. And it was because of your patience. We know that it was very challenging to come in and the construction and the loss of parking and tearing up the streets and digging in. And you all, through this whole challenge, you were very patient. And we really appreciate that, because now we are here realizing just really a dream for this community, an improvement to the sidewalks, an improvement to the infrastructure, an improvement to our water pressure system, so that when there is a fire or emergency, the pressure, I know this is not probably that interesting, but it makes all the difference when dealing with any emergency, to make sure that water suppression and our equipment and the systems actually work when they need you, when we need it the most. The fiber optic cables, the improvements to the sidewalks, the bulb outs, all the amazing things that will really make this community not just safer, but more beautiful. And so I just really want to thank the Inner Sunset Park neighbors at the time, under the leadership of Andrea Jodwin, who is joining us here today. The work that you all did to really push us in a direction to give some attention to this community, shine a light on many of the challenges that exist here, is why we're here, as well as the Inner Sunset Merchants Association. The merchants here who serve the community. This is really not just a place where so many neighbors enjoy and eat and go to the hardware stores and pick up their glasses and everything else. People from UCSF spend a lot of time here during lunch. People from the park spend a lot of time here. And this community has really come together as a force to make amazing projects like this happen. So I'm really excited. Looking forward to doing even more, because I have not forgotten about the wires over on 9th and Irving and what we need to do to underground those wires. I know that's important. We're talking about right down the street, the gateway on Lincoln and what is that, Lincoln and 9th, the gateway to Golden Gate Park, and really re-envisioning what we need to do to really transform this community, because it is really an important jewel in our city. And so it's exciting times, and thank you to Department of Public Works, to the City Administrator's Office for facilitating this project, to MTA and all the contractors, all the incredible workers who basically not only worked in this community, they spent money in this community at the restaurants. This was definitely a great effort. It took some time, but here we are, a celebration of just really an amazing project that is going to change the quality of life for the residents who live here. So enjoy it. And next up, I want to take the opportunity to introduce your Supervisor Vallie Brown, who, as you remember, was out here in this community on a regular basis working with you all to move this project forward. She drove me a little crazy because she was running out of patience with city bureaucracy and trying to get it done. And now she gets to enjoy the fruits of her labor. Ladies and gentlemen, your Supervisor Vallie Brown.
Thank you, everyone. You know what they say, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. That's kind of what I feel about this project. And I just want to say right away, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to everyone. It actually was her fault. She started it, and then I had to come in and finish it, right? Yeah. I'm not going to go over everything that we've done, because I know that Mohammed Nuru from DPW gave you all of those sexy details. But what I see is this neighborhood really coming together and saying, okay, this is painful, and especially the merchants. Thank you, merchants. But we know that once it's finished, it's going to be amazing. And $21 million later, yeah, it looks pretty amazing, I'd say. So I want to thank people, and I have to read this because I always forget one person, and then I get in trouble afterwards. So, thank you, Mayor Brvd, for starting it. Like I said, it's your fault, but yes. City Administrator Naomi Kelly, she was instrumental, and Mohammed Nuru from Public Works. I mean, this is something I have to say was he really jumped in and said, let's make this happen and let's make it as less painful as we can. And then Acting Director for SFMTA, Tom McGuire. And then, of course, San Francisco's PUC, Harlan Kelly. I mean, I used to call everyone on this list if a neighbor called me and said there was a pile of dirt in their driveway when they got home. They couldn't park their car at 7 o'clock at night. So the responsiveness from their teams were amazing. And I just want to thank all of their teams because every single week we had an issue, whether it was the veterinarian, whether it was, like I said, people getting dirt in their driveway, they couldn't park their car. And then even after the project, repainting the red, the red lines for people's parking driveway. This was all things that they really stepped up. And we had plenty of merchant meetings to really talk about what was happening on the issues. But now we're in another phase of what's happening to Inner Sunset. One of the things that we're doing is what we're 75. I actually put $75K into budget so we could start doing a pilot program called curb management. And this is something I would think about because Barbara, I don't know where Barbara is from the neighborhood. She used to tell me every day when I walked by her house how we had people parking in her driveway or double parking and slowing up Muni to run in and get the, the Ubers and stuff, to run in and get the food from the merchants. And we said, okay, how can we solve these issues? I would go and talk to merchants and they said, parking is so horrible here. I heard that. No. Hey, everybody. And they would say, look, I just need parking. My customer needs parking for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, maybe 30. And with these parking, bye. So really having to look at creatively looking at curb management. So we're in the process. All right. We're in the process of right now of actually having a community engagement of this curb management and how do we make it easier for people to park? How do we make it easier for businesses to have people be able to come in and get what they need and get out so they're not parked there for hours? How do we, get the Uber Eats and all the other deliveries where they have a place to park and can get in and out so they're not parking in Barbara's driveway? So this is actually happening now. And once again, the Inner Sunset Park neighbors and the merchants are at the table saying, we're going to work with you. And this is the only way I like to work because, I came as a neighborhood activist and I didn't like it when people just did things in my neighborhood. And I found out when I walked out the door that it was done. So just thank everyone for being here today. I'm really excited at all of the work that's done. It's amazing. And should I bring up Naomi? Should I? Naomi! So now I'd like to introduce Naomi Kelly. She's a city administrator. And this is really was her baby to manage all of the different people to make sure that it was done right. And so, Naomi, have a thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Brown and Mayor Brvd and Director of Public Works, Mohammed Nuru. This project has a little bit more meaning to me because I actually live in the neighborhood. I spend so much time here on these corners, whether I'm going to Amazing Fantasy with my kids, Burn SF to try and stay in shape, Jamba Juice, you name it, I'm on this street. And so I lived through the construction, so I understand the merchants and the pain you went through. But boy, did this turn out beautiful. And I've been to many streetscape improvements over in different commercial corridors. And I have to say, these seats and these planners are some of the best I've seen in all of San Francisco. So you all did a great job on that. Again, I want to thank Muhammad Nuru and John Thomas on this in completing this project, because it was done on time, and that's very important. Public Works delivers many key construction projects throughout the city, and having it done on time so that we're not disrupting the merchants longer than we said is very important. You heard that this specific project was $21.3 million, and it definitely is connected pedestrians and residents, and we're more resilient. As chair of the 10-year capital plan in the capital planning committee, we have done a lot to make sure that we are coordinating our projects. We heard today that it was coordinated with Public Works and the resurfacing, it was coordinated with MTA and the bulb outs, and it was coordinated with the SFPUC in putting in our emergency firefighting water system and putting in our new water lines and our sewer lines. The sewer lines were very important as someone who lives in this neighborhood, because I could tell you where every sinkhole was, and no matter how much we resurfaced, the street was still sinking. I was actually drawing diagrams and handing it to the SFPUC and to DPW saying, hey, these are the most important parts you need to touch in the Sunset. Underground, we put in more than 4,000. The mayor is absolutely right. The newer trains are much quieter than the older ones that come through. But underground, there were more than 4,000 linear feet of emergency firefighting water system pipelines that were upgraded. And that was the largest budget item at $7.3 million, along with another $8 million for the water and sewer line replacements to provide upgraded protection for this community in case of a potential earthquake. Also underground, we put in, as Director Newer said, municipal fiber, which will provide safer and more secure signals to this community. At the street level, pedestrians and Muni riders will see improvements, as you can see already with the curb ramps and the bulb outs, and that was approximately $5.7 million. But not just here in the Inner Sunset, I also want to give a shout out to Public Works, because they have resurfaced 644 blocks across the entire city this last year. And we work together as one city, connected, and I'm pleased to introduce Tom McGuire, the Interim Director of Transportation.
Good morning. It's great to be here with all of you to celebrate this beautiful new streetscape and celebrate the partnership among the city agencies like the PUC, Public Works, our city administrator, and the elected officials who helped get the funds together and get the will together to make this happen. And this streetscape is beautiful, but when I look at it, I don't just see beautiful planters and trees, I also see safety. I see these Muni riders who have been getting on and off the trains that have been going by during this event, and we see them getting off onto a nice, safe sidewalk. They're not getting off into traffic like they do elsewhere in the city, and this is the experience we want for Muni riders. We know the N-Judah is the lifeline of the Sunset. It's one of the busiest corridors in the Muni system. The streets in this area are also some of the streets at our high injury Vision Zero network. We want to make sure that transit riders who are taking the safest, cleanest way to get around San Francisco are safe, not just on their journey on the trains, but also when they get on and off on these beautiful streetscapes. So thank you to the community for your patience as we've been working with our fellow agencies to get this built over the last over 2 years. And thank you to everyone who stood up and fought for the funding and fought for the design to get this project done. Thank you.
And now, after listening to all of us, which I'm sure you're a little bored, I want to bring up Andrea Jadwin, who is really a leader from the Inner Sunset Park neighbors, to give her viewpoint of this project as a neighbor. Thank you.
Thanks, Vallie. I only got one thing to say to the people who live here, to the merchants who work here, to their employees who come here every day. We didn't just do this for a photo op. Thank you. We did it because there are two important reasons for people in this neighborhood to have this happening. One is Muni, the N-Judah, is going to be faster. You're going to get to work faster and you're going to get home faster, and I'm sure anyone who does that every day, 5 days a week, understands how important that is. It's also going to be safer for you. You're not going to be hit by cars trying to squeeze in between the boarding ramps. And most importantly, 9th Avenue and Irving is an intersection that is painful for people who walk around this neighborhood on a frequent basis. You're sometimes stopped at a light for up to 2.5 minutes while we're waiting for trains to come and go, people to come and go, bikes, Muni, all that kind of stuff. Now that the stops have been reconfigured so that the buses get through the light before they have to stop, that intersection will be so much more pleasant for all of us to experience. So that's why we're here, that's why we did it, and everyone who's put up with the noise and stuff like that, give yourself a round of applause.
All right. Thank you. Let's give the project a big hand. I mean, this is a great improvement. Our mayor all over town is challenging us to continue to do more projects like this. And Public Works and the partnership with all the agencies will continue to deliver for you. So with that said, we are going to cut the ribbon. And so where's the ribbon cutting team here? Or behind us is the ribbon.
Folks like Martha, Barbara, and other community members, feel free to come on up and help us cut this ribbon. This is for your community, and we want to make sure you're a part of it. Are we ready? Yeah. Are we sure? Yeah. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2. You're not even counting. Okay, come on. Are we ready?